friends of Birth Star Astrology. Welcome to another video. This one is on planetary friendships. The friendships are part of what you'd want to consider when looking at planetary dignity. So here is your complete list of planetary dignity. When you're looking at a chart and you're wondering which planets are strong, which are weak, depending on where they transit or where they're located in a natal chart, you'd want to look at this list, one being the strongest the planet can possibly be, Uchcha, exaltation, and 9, Nichcha, being debilitation, being the weakest the planet can ever be. So this is your complete list, and today we're going to discuss just the ones in yellow. Adhi Mitra, best friend, Mitra, friend, Sama, neutral, Satru, enemy, and Adhi Satru, sworn enemy, today in this video. And the ones listed in white, the house owners, they're going to be discussed in another video, which I will link in the description box below. Okay, so if two planets were mingling with one another, or if a planet was going to a house owned by a particular planet, we would look to see whether or not they were friends or not, and this would give us some idea about dignity. So in this case, we're just going to walk through each of the 7 classical planets. If we start with Saturn, it's a natural malefic, meaning it brings sort of a darker force. If it mingles with any other planet, it's going to sort of bring it down and have a negative vibration to it. So when we take Shani Saturn and we mix it with Guru Jupiter, which is a natural benefic, meaning the opposite of a natural malefic, a natural benefic is going to give other planets that it mingles with a boost. So when we mix Saturn with Jupiter, we get a neutral friendship. And let's go right on down the list with the rest of the combinations of Saturn. If we mix Saturn with natural malefic Mangal Mars, we get an enemy friendship. If we mix Saturn with natural malefic Surya Sun, we get another enemy. If we mix Saturn with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we get a friend. If we mix Saturn with Buddha Mercury, we get a friend. And it's important to note here with Mercury, Mercury's not a malefic or a benefic on its own. It depends on who it's mingling with. So if it's in a house with other malefics, it's going to become a malefic. If it's with other benefics, it's going to become a benefic. Okay, so let's move on. Saturn mixing with Moon, that's going to be an enemy relationship. And also it's important to point out about the Moon, waxing moon is a benefic moon, waning moon is a malefic moon. So it depends. You want to keep an eye on where the moon is at the time of birth or at the time of transit. Moving on to Guru Jupiter's combinations, which is a natural benefic. When you mix Jupiter with Shani Saturn, which is a natural malefic, you get a neutral friendship. When you mix Jupiter with Mangal Mars, which is a natural malefic, you get a friendship. When you mix Jupiter with natural malefic Surya Sun, you get a friendship. When you mix Jupiter with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we get enemies. When you mix Jupiter with Buddha Mercury, we get another enemy. And when you mix Jupiter with Chandra Moon, we get a friendship. Moving on to natural malefic Mangal Mars and its combinations. Mixing Mars with natural malefic Shani Saturn, we get a neutral friendship. Mixing Mars with Guru Jupiter, natural benefic, we get a friendship. Mixing Mars with Surya Sun, a natural malefic, we get a friendship. Mixing Mars with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we get a neutral friendship. Mixing Mars with Buddha Mercury, we get an enemy. And mixing Mars with Chandra Moon, we get a friendship. And again, remember to check to see if it's a waxing, a benefic moon, or a waning malefic moon. Moving on to natural malefic Surya Sun and its combinations. Mixing Sun with natural malefic Shani Saturn, we have an enemy. Mixing Sun with Guru Jupiter, natural benefic, we have a friend. Mixing Sun with natural malefic Mangal Mars, we have another friend. Mixing Sun with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we have an enemy. Mixing Sun with Buddha Mercury, we have a neutral. And mixing Sun with Chandra Moon, we have a friend. Onto natural benefic Shukra Venus and her combinations. Mixing Venus with natural malefic Shani Saturn, we have a friend. Mixing Venus with natural benefic Guru Jupiter, we have a neutral. Mixing Venus with natural malefic Mangal Mars, we have a neutral. Mixing Venus with natural malefic Surya Sun, we have an enemy. Mixing Venus with Buddha Mercury, we have a friend. And mixing Venus with Chandra Moon, we have an enemy. Moving on to Buddha Mercury and those combinations. Mixing Mercury with natural malefic Shani Saturn, we have a neutral. Mixing Mercury with natural benefic Guru Jupiter, we have a neutral. Mixing Mercury with natural malefic Mangal Mars, we have another neutral. Mixing Mercury with natural malefic Surya Sun, we have a friend. Mixing Mercury with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we have a friend. And mixing Mercury with Chandra Moon, we have an enemy. And the last cycle here, Chandra Moon and her combinations. Mixing Moon with natural malefic Shani Saturn, we have a neutral. Mixing Moon with natural benefic Guru Jupiter, we have a neutral. Mixing Moon with natural malefic Mangal Mars, we have a neutral. Mixing Moon with natural malefic Surya Sun, we have a friend. Mixing Moon with natural benefic Shukra Venus, we have a neutral. Mixing Moon with Buddha Mercury, we have a friend. Okay, and here is the complete table of everything that we just went through. And I will save you the trouble of going through all of those again. The one thing I will point out that should jump right out at you right away is that the moon has no enemies. So not applicable right there. So that is the natural friendships. Now on to something slightly more tricky. Temporary friendships. They're going to depend at whatever planet that you're looking at. Temporary friends would be considered any planets that are 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses, 10 houses, 11 houses, or 12 houses from that planet. So they would become temporary friends regardless of what they were otherwise. And then same thing, looking at the same chart point, if you were looking at Mars, you would say, okay, anything that's within the same house or 5 houses away, 6 houses away, 7 houses away, 8 houses away, or 9 houses away would become temporary enemies with Mars, as an example. So how does that factor in? You would take a combination of natural and temporary friendships and you would combine them for your final result. So that's how you get something like best friend or sworn enemy. You might have seen those tables floating around on the web. This is actually how you can combine them. So to get a best friend, you would combine a friend and a friend. To get a sworn enemy, you would combine an enemy and an enemy. And I'll leave timestamps in the description below as well as to when these tables flash on the screen, because I think they'd probably be pretty handy to pause the video at. Also, it's probably good to go through a little bit about what they mean. When a planet is with a sworn enemy, it's basically worthless. There is no ray at all to the planet, so it's not comfortable and it's not going to give good effects. When a planet is with an enemy, its ray is low, kind of similar as with a sworn enemy, just slightly better results. You'll feel it a little bit, but it's not going to do much for you, or it'll bring down the situation. When a planet is in a neutral sign or with another planet that's a neutral friendship, its ray will be slightly below normal, but you will get some effects. When it's with a friend, you'll get full effects and you'll feel the ray. And when it's with a best friend or in the sign of a best friend, you're really just going to feel it in an unbridled way and it's going to be uninhibited. So that is the gist of friendships in Vedic astrology. I hope you got a lot out of this video, and I greatly appreciate you stopping by. And I will link to the other video that I mentioned in the description box below. Hope you stop back and check out more videos. There's more on the way. Thanks again.